Hello, Steve White, Steve Arts 89. Well, I just watched episode 5 of Quantum Leap, the first season, Salvation or Bust. Now, this episode is the Western episode, and it got a fair amount of attention, I think, because, you know, it's a Western episode, and also because they are changing another thing about the show, where in the original show, oh God, I've forgotten the name of the character. He couldn't jump. Let's just call him Scott, because it's Scott Bakula. But he couldn't jump outside of his lifetime, and Ben just jumped back to 1879. So how did he do that? So that was a bit of a surprise, because I thought at first that they were going to do the same story that they did in the other Quantum Leap, because I have seen that episode, because I have season 1 and I think 5 of the original Quantum Leap, which is why I was very confused, because I felt like I'd seen how it started, but I thought I only had season 5, so I sort of worked out what happened there. Because season 1 is only 9 episodes, but there was a cowboy episode in one of the seasons that I saw, and it's one of those places people go to pretend, you know, they're like living in the West or whatever. So he thinks he's actually gone way back into the West. He's actually just an actor playing a character in like a Western show. So I thought they were going to do that when I first saw it. I didn't think it was really the town, like I didn't think they'd really jump back that far, but they have. Now, I was a bit confused by the time, because it's 1879, and there's a black lady who's running, I think she's running the House of Ill Repute, the local House of Ill Repute, and there's a deputy, and I think someone else. Basically, there's black people with roles and property, and I thought, I didn't think that was happening, but I had a little bit of a Google, and of course slavery ended in 1865, so they've had 14 years, so I guess it's plausible, and they do keep talking about the town like it's special and different, run differently, and people are able to be themselves, be who they are, be treated fairly and so forth, so it does sound like it's some sort of place where the rules don't apply. So we'll let that go. I actually tried to Google to see if it's a real town or not, if it really existed. I couldn't find any proof that it was, or that it wasn't. I could just find a few references to salvation or different forms of salvation, but I didn't have the time. I just had to let it go. And the other thing I kept getting stuck on is that Ben keeps talking to Addison normally, like normal conversations in front of everyone. He doesn't like go to another room or go up to a corner or something, or speak under his breath or quietly or something. And I'm like, doesn't he look crazy just talking to himself all the time? Like, do people not notice? It's kind of stretching my suspension of disbelief a little bit. I really wish they would work it into the story that he has to always go off somewhere to talk to her or something. Okay, so the episode itself is fairly simple. Basically, he's gone back to the Old West, and he is an old retired gunslinger. He's been brought into the town because this special town is apparently going to be torn down by train tracks being put through the town or something. So they've the people who run the train line have or building the train line have sent in an outlaw and his gang to basically scare the people out of the town so they can take it over, but they're not moving, and he's been brought in to fight the guy. But Ben doesn't know how to shoot a gun. Ben's a pacifist, so he's opposed to the idea of killing someone, obviously, and he doesn't even know how to fire a gun. Now, being a pacifist myself, I understand how this could be quite difficult, and I like that they dealt with that, because I'm not sure how I would deal morally with the idea of having to do something that someone else would, because I'm in their body, but it's actually I'm still doing it. So I'm glad they sort of had him sort of struggling with that. And they came to a fairly believable conclusion where he said, I cannot train to match this guy. So what I'm going to have to do, and sort of Addison's idea was, I'm going to have to get everyone else, the whole town, because the whole town of rebels and random people and 4 different skill sets that can come together who want to save the town. And the idea was to bring them all together and put together a trap to catch the guys, and then because one of them, like I said, is an outlaw, and if they catch him, they can get the reward, and that'll be enough to pay off the train people. I wasn't unclear exactly how that was working, but whatever. So they set it up, and it pretty much works. They throw down some fire, and the guys go inside. They throw down some chemicals. One of them passes out. The main guy who had a handkerchief over his face, it doesn't affect him, so he tries to run out, and he finds himself in a cage because they literally built a cage under the back door of this place where they knew he'd go to get out, and they drop the door and trap him. And he's like, okay, let's negotiate. And Ben's like, yeah, no, sorry, you had your chance, amigo. Sorry. He has a gun, but he's obviously going to be the second person shot because the sheriff and that's there. And that's pretty much the end of the story, except for one little twist, because one person I did noticing him talking to Addison was just this random guy. And right at the end, he comes up to him and says, I know who you are, you're Ben Song, you're from Quantum Leap, and, stop chasing me, basically. And we're like, what? Where is he from? And then Ben leaps, and we don't see where he goes. I'm like, what? I thought every episode you were supposed to see where he went next. And that was part of the format, was that you got a teaser for next week, so you get excited about it. I'm like, where did he go? Why did they not do that? Are they not going to do that for every episode? Are they like, we don't want to be, formulaic, so let's do something different? I'm like, no, screw that. I want to see where he is next week. So, not quite happy with that. I mean, probably the highlight of the episode was just the fact he was dressed as a cowboy the whole episode, because he's cute. And they even played on that in the episode where Addison said, by the way, this cowboy thing, that's working. And he's like, really? It was cute. And his character has softened a little bit now that he's talking to Addison and he remembers that they were together, although he doesn't remember any of the details, which is kind of heartbreaking for her because she can remember all their dates and everything and he can't remember anything. But he does remember how he feels about her, so that helps. Now, the other side of the story, which I almost forgot about, is that some random lady has just showed up who has security clearance, and she's questioning everyone about the Quantum Leap project because she's worked out that the power sources that the power usage that they've detected is enough to be leaping. So she showed up, basically worked that out, but they've got some dirt on her. And fortunately, Magic has a bit more class than that. And when she basically says, look, I know what you're doing and I have to report it, he's like, don't shut us down. We can save people's lives. We can change the future for the better. And he reminds her of the fact that her brother died in a pointless accident 10 years ago and that they could go back in time and fix that for her. And that little bit of hope and kind of blackmail is enough for her to not let the secret out. So that's the other part of the episode. And I do sometimes feel like the other characters are not wasting time, but I just feel like we're not as focused on the stories that Ben's in and he sleeps as much as we could be because we have the other characters in that. And the outside story is not as interesting. And it just distracts, and it also reminds us of the science and that as well a bit more. And I think it was better when the original show just had him jumping and he really didn't spend a lot of time on that side of things. Because from what I remember, and I've only seen season 1 and 4 or 5. I've got season 1 and 5 on DVD, and that's all I've seen. So I know how it started. Maybe it's season 4. Yeah, season 4, and then one season 5 episode was one of the special features on season 4. So I've got like season 1, which is only 9 episodes, season 4, which is a full season, and then 1 episode from season 5, and it's not the final or anything, because I think they did 6 seasons. But I am enjoying the show, and I'm looking forward to it, and it's the first show since And Just Like That, which was a few months ago. I've actually looked forward to watching week to week, so when I realised, I haven't watched Quantum Leap yet this week, I actually was like looking forward to it. And I haven't looked forward to a show for so long, because most of the shows I watch are shows that I'm watching to criticise because I have problems with it. And it's not a lot of fun. So I'm actually enjoying having a show to actually watch that's actually fun. Because I kind of enjoyed She-Hulk, but I did have issues, so I was sort of criticising that as well. But this is pretty much just fun. So I'm going to go. Feel free to share, like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you think. Does anyone know if Salvation was a real town? And yeah, that's, I guess, the only question I sort of have lingering after this episode. And where do you go next? I really hope this is not a random thing where sometimes we see where he goes in the next episode and others we don't. That's something I sort of was used to, and I think really should stay part of the format for the show overall. But yeah, I'm going to go. Thanks. Bye.